This is a stimulus check update and daily news report. With the Build Back Better bill taking an indefinite nap, Democrats are finding it really hard to cope with that fact, and Bernie Sanders has bashed Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin in a video clip. I'll share that with you. You don't want to miss that. And Ted Cruz is relishing in the fact that the Build Back Better bill is dead, at least for 2021, hoping it'll be dead forever. So I'll play you those video clips. Also, I'll go over the latest stimulus check articles like this. Surprise stimulus check refund worth $125 being sent to millions for the first time in a decade. Are you eligible? Then this one, applications for a $500 stimulus check payment open on Saturday. Here's how to schedule your appointment and to apply. And President Biden is going to extend the student loan forgiveness program to a few different people. And I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. And I'm giving $200 to my subscribers. I'll talk more about that later on in the video. But first, Omicron replicates 70 times faster than Delta in airways, but lung infection appears less severe. Study. So we've seen that in the early days of Omicron, which was just a couple of weeks ago, that it replicates really fast but may not be as severe as Delta. So a team of researchers at Hong Kong University's Faculty of Medicine found Omicron replicates 70 times faster in human airways, but infection in the lungs appears less severe. The studies are under peer review, and Chan noted that a highly contagious virus like Omicron may cause more severe disease and death simply by spreading much faster, even though the lung infection appears not as bad. Let me know your thoughts on this. Are you concerned about Omicron, or is it just like any other variant as before? Let me know your thoughts on that. Next, let's talk about student loan forgiveness. So, student loan forgiveness. Biden administration considers more changes to program for public service workers. So, if you haven't been following, there's been a few different groups who've been getting a student loan, and at the moment, public service workers are expanding that program for more public service workers to get their student loans forgiven. So this isn't the big student loan forgiveness as President Biden promised, and that's still on his website for the $10,000 for every student loan borrower federally. He hasn't mentioned that at all, hasn't been in any plan, not in the Build Back Better bill, not as standalone, despite all of his fellow colleagues saying, hey, what happened to that promise? He hasn't said anything about that, just targeted student loan forgiveness programs. Then we have this stimulus check article right here, surprise stimulus check refund worth $125 being sent to millions for the first time in a decade. Are you eligible? So cash-strapped Americans in Indiana will receive a cash boost of $125 when taxes are filed next year. So basically what happened in Indiana, there was a surplus. They had around $4 billion in reserves, and by law they have to give $125 for all the Indianians, if that's how you say it, who file their taxes. So if you live in Indiana, most likely you're going to get a $125 check. With the $2,000 per month to every American for the fourth stimulus check petition, currently at 2,983,000 signatures. Still no fourth stimulus check in any package or standalone. No Congress members have endorsed a fourth stimulus check, so still waiting to see if anything changes in 2022, maybe around election time, or if there's any lockdowns. But as of yet, no stimulus checks. This article right here, applications for $500 stimulus check payment open on Saturday. Here's how to schedule your appointment and apply. So I mentioned this tomorrow, Saturday, St. Louis, Missouri is going to give $500 stimulus checks, or actually the applications are open tomorrow on December 18th for that. If you live in St. Louis and you want to take advantage of this program, the phone number right here is 866-948-3742. So you can call that number and schedule your appointment to get the $500 stimulus check. When it comes to the Build Back Better plan, Democrats are basically accepting defeat. President Biden has officially acknowledged that the Build Back Better plan won't pass this year. Meanwhile, House Democrat calls for Congress to pass another COVID relief package. Jamal Bowman saying that he wants to have another package, another stimulus package, maybe even potentially with stimulus stimulus checks to pass in 2022, but very unlikely if there is no support from Mitch McConnell or from Joe Manchin. Anyway, here is a video clip from a Democrat senator talking about the reasons why the Build Back Better plan should pass.
Thank you. I appreciate my friend from Texas and his comments. I had trouble following some of them. When he comes to the floor after, he deserved credit for the 2017-18 tax cut for the rich. 70% of the benefits went to the 1%. He did take credit for his work in the Finance Committee, and he should take credit for that. But that's what drove this hole in the deficit where the rich got richer. And I remember during that, you remember, you were not here at the time, Mr. President, but you can still see it here. You can look out the window and you can see Senator McConnell's office there and the lobbyists lined up. You should have seen them back when Senator Cornyn was talking about this tax cut for the rich, where they made these promises. We're gonna if you give tax cuts to really rich people and corporations, it'll trickle down and we'll all do better. They'll hire more people and they'll raise wages. Well, we know what they did. In fact, just announced another round of it, a whole bunch of stock buybacks for the executives. So we know what's happened during those years, that profits went up for corporations, the stock market soared, executive compensation exploded through the roof, and wages for most people in Mansfield, Georgia, and Mansfield, Ohio, and Marietta, Georgia, and Marietta, Ohio stayed flat. We know that. That's why Build Back Better makes sense. It begins to put money in people's pockets. And what my friend from Texas, and we sit across from each other in the Finance Committee and work together on some issues, and I appreciate what he's done in CFIUS and some other bills, but what he didn't explain is why every one of them opposes the child tax credit. We know the child tax credit, we know a number of things. I've been working on this since 2013. It started with not a lot of support, built huge support by early this year. Sitting at this desk on March 6th, I voted, as did the presiding officer from Georgia, and the first really big vote he cast as a member of the Senate in the majority, voted for the child tax credit. Two different times, every single Republican voted no, every single Democrat voted yes. You know what that meant? It meant that starting on March 6th, starting in July when we got it, that 90% of the families of Georgia, 90% of the families in Ohio who have children under the age of 18 got at least a $3,000 a year tax cut. Think about that. Families that struggle with paying the rent. 25% of renters in this country before the pandemic paid more than half their income in rent. Think of the pressure those families are under at the end of every month to cobble together $700 to pay their rent. They get a $3,000 tax cut. The family that's struggling to pay for diapers or child care, especially the cost of child care, has exploded, whether it's Metro Atlanta or Metro Columbus, Ohio, whether it's small town Milledgeville or small town Shelby, Ohio. Families struggle with child care. And this $300 a month per child, or $250 depending on the age of the children, makes a huge difference in those families. One father said, for the first time, I have money now to buy my daughter fast pitch softball equipment. A mother said to me, I have money now. For the first time, I can send my son for a week to summer camp, and school supplies in the fall. And as I said, diapers and other expenses for infants makes all the difference in the world. We know there are a few things. I expect the presiding officer, I hope, has a long career in this body. I don't know if he'll ever get the opportunity to vote on anything as big as what we did in March with the Recovery Act and what we're about to do with Build Back Better. For me, they're the highlights of my career. I hope the presiding officer has a lot of years in front of him, but this is the most consequential thing this Congress has done. Not just to fight poverty, lift poor kids, struggling parents that are working so hard to raise kids and balance two jobs and all that. Not just to help kids get out of poverty, but to make life easier. 90% of the families, as I said, 90% of the families who have children under 18 in Georgia and Ohio and every state in between are going to get a $3,000 a year tax cut. And that alone is so important. And I wish my colleague from Texas would address why they all vote no. They've had 2 chances. It sounds like they're going to take their 3rd chance and vote no again. I don't understand it. Is it the lobbyists that line up at Senator McConnell's office? Is it some weird philosophy that markets always know better? Is it just that they don't really care about helping kids? I don't know what their logic is. I just know that what our logic is, and it will make our country better.
So the Build Back Better bill seems to be taking a long and extended nap at the moment. It's dead for 2021, may be revived in 2022. So Joe Manchin cancels Build Back Better's Christmas party. So originally they wanted to pass the Build Back Better bill before Christmas. Doesn't seem to be the case, and Republicans are loving this moment. Lindsey Graham's hoping that it's dead forever. Ted Cruz saying that the Build Back Broke bill is probably not going to come back in 2022, and they want Joe Manchin to join the Republican Party. Take a look at this video clip and what Ted Cruz has to say.
We welcome back Senator Ted Cruz, great state of Texas. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We know you're busy, but I want to ask you, I mean, I hate to have rejoicing during the Biden era, but as you may know, just about every day on this show for the past 4 or 5 months, I have said, save America, kill the bill. And it looks to me like the bill is certainly dead for this year.
Yep.
And then the longer it pauses, the more likely it'll be dead forever. What are you thinking, Senator Cruz? Am I too optimistic or what?
Well, Larry, at least for right now, that appears to be the case. The Build Back Broke bill is a disaster. We've got inflation raging across the country. As you know, we've got the highest rate of inflation since 1982, 39 years. And it's the direct result of the Biden Democrats spending trillions of dollars we don't have, borrowing trillions of dollars we don't have, printing money like crazy, and costs are going up across the board. And Schumer and Pelosi had said as their #1 priority passing the Build Back Broke bill. Schumer insisted over and over again they were going to do it by Christmas, by Christmas, by Christmas. And just this week he admitted, okay, they're not doing it by Christmas, that all the Republicans oppose it, and at least right now, both Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema do as well. I think that's a great Christmas present to the American people not to pass this bill. You know, last night I had dinner with the leadership of the Texas Farm Bureau. And they were telling me that they're hearing from farmers and ranchers all across Texas, the #1 concern they're hearing is please, please, please don't let Congress pass the Build Back Broke bill. We can't afford more inflation. We can't afford our inputs going up. We can't afford the debt. We can't afford the taxes. And at least for this Christmas, it ain't going to get done. We'll see next year if they can ram it through. I hope Manchin and Sinema hold the line, but we'll have to find out next year.
Well, you know, it's so interesting to me. So last Friday we had 7% CPI, repricing $5 trillion for the bill, $3 trillion in extra. Then we got a PPI of 10% on Monday. And I might add, yesterday we got import price inflation up about 12%. So I thought those are all killers. And I want to ask you, you know, hasn't Joe Manchin in particular really been a terrific leader? I mean, I'm hoping you're going to bring him over to the Republican Party, Ted Cruz. But even now, he has been a terrific leader.
Well, listen, Joe is a very affable guy. He's a nice guy. It's impossible to dislike him. He was a college football quarterback. He is he's someone, just a couple of weeks ago we were on the Senate floor. Joe was standing with 5 or 6 Republican senators, and one of the senators joked, said, we should follow Cruz's suggestion and we should make you the chairman of the committee on everything. And if you come over to be a Republican, we'll do that. And I pointed out, I said, Joe, look, at least one of the 2 parties actually likes you. We like you. Your own party can't stand you. So, come to sanity. I don't know if he will, because culturally he's been a Democrat his whole life, but the nastiness he's getting from the far left,
So it doesn't look like the Build Back Better bill is going to get Joe Manchin's support anytime soon. Let me know your thoughts on what Ted Cruz has to say about the Build Back Better bill and how much he loves Joe Manchin at the moment. But give it a few months, and when there's another Democrat-Republican issue, they're probably going to throw Joe Manchin under the bus. That's just how it goes in politics and in Congress. So Bernie Sanders blasts arrogance of fellow Democrats Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema for torpedoing Biden's Build Back Better bill in Congress unless things are done their way. So basically saying that Manchin and Sinema were acting like Republicans. Bernie Sanders not too happy. Got to check out what he says here.
You're standing inside the Capitol where I hear your voice reverberating off the marble, and so I have to ask you as well about what looks like what will be the end of the year without the Build Back Better agenda passing out of the... there's multiple interpretations of the ongoing conversations with Joe Biden and Joe Manchin, President Joe Biden and co-president Joe Manchin, about whether this is going to happen. And I guess there's two ways to interpret it. One is Joe Manchin is essentially acting in bad faith and kicking the can until it can die. And the other is the fact he's still talking, the fact he's still engaging on details, means that there is an actual negotiation ongoing. And which of those two are your interpretation?
Well, let me just say this, and I hope everybody in America understands it. You got 50 people in the Republican caucus. We have gotten no support from them to lower the cost of prescription drugs, to expand Medicare, to include dental, hearing, eyeglasses. No support from them for child care, for housing, which is all in this Build Back Better plan. No support to deal with the existential threat of climate change. So you got 50 Republicans who are not prepared to do anything for the environment of working families. You got 48 people in the Democratic caucus who are prepared, and a president of the United States prepared to think big. And you have two Democrats who, in my view, are kind of acting like Republicans. And to me, I respect other people's points of view, but I do not respect the arrogance of any member of the Senate who says, you know what, I'm going to torpedo this entire bill, supported overwhelmingly by the American people, who are sick and tired of paying outrageously high prices for prescription drugs, sick and tired of seeing billionaires not paying their fair share of taxes, tired of seeing people sleeping out on the street, kids and families not being able to enjoy decent quality child care at an affordable cost. And you got two people who say, you know what, hey, if you don't do it my way, I don't care what the president wants, I don't care what 48 of my colleagues want, it's my way or the highway. And that I regard as arrogance. You can disagree. Look, I have disagreements, as you well know. All right, you fight for your ideas, but you don't say my way or the highway. And that I feel very strongly about.
Probably the last few months, Bernie Sanders was not as vocal as he was, maybe 2 months ago, but not sure if that made any difference with Joe Manchin being the co-president. As said before, basically Joe Manchin has more power than anybody in the Democratic Party in terms of getting something done. Looks like it's not going to happen for now, but things might change in the future. I'll keep you updated. And that is all the stimulus news I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. This is a stimulus check update and daily news report. With the Build Back Better bill taking an indefinite nap, Democrats are finding it really hard to cope with that fact, and Bernie Sanders has bashed Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin in a video clip. I'll share that with you. You don't want to miss that. And Ted Cruz is relishing in the fact that the Build Back Better bill is dead, at least for 2021, hoping it'll be dead forever. So I'll play you those video clips. Also, I'll go over the latest stimulus check articles like this. Surprise stimulus check refund worth $125 being sent to millions for the first time in a decade. Are you eligible? Then this one, applications for a $500 stimulus check payment open on Saturday. Here's how to schedule your appointment and to apply. And President Biden is going to extend the student loan forgiveness program to a few different people. And I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. And I'm giving $200 to my subscribers. I'll talk more about that later.